Hey everybody, it's Chris here from TDW Woodworks. I'm in the process of making a small little shelving unit that's going to house my pneumatic nails and fasteners and its accessories and whatnot. And I'm in the process of making this neat little shelving unit, but I realized I'm going to need to have some shelf poles on there. So I was trying to come up with an idea of how to turn them. They don't have to be completely 100% identical, but I like to get them all kind of similar. So I came up with a good technique to make these small little poles on the lathe, and I figured one on each side would look nice. So I thought I'd show you my technique on how to make these little drawer poles on the lathe as uniform as I can make them without having a duplicator. Well, anyways, let's show you what I did. All right, let's start out. We're just going to get a little piece of hardwood here. I think I got some birch. And you're just going to round it over so we can start with a clean slate. So in order to be consistent, I'm going to grab a ruler here so I can make sure I get my 10 handles out of it. Now I'm marking out at 1 inch each, even though they're only going to be a ½ inch. I want to mark it out and parting tool out there and notch everything out so we can have even looking handles. So what I'm using as a parting tool is I had this old knife from my grandma's house, and it's a really awful kitchen knife, but I ground it down and cut it down so that it would make a good parting tool. It stays sharp and it's a nice thin kerf when you use it as a parting tool. What I'm doing is now marking out the ½ inch spaces. Gonna mark those out so that will be the high part, and I will cut my knobs to the left of each of those lines just so we can try to be as even as possible. So what I'm doing is, if you see to the left of each line there is a angle of whatever degree it is, and I'm just trying to match that one by one, visually eyeing it. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect unless you're in production, but I just take my time one by one and cut them and try to match the curve behind, and then I'll go over and cut each one of those out. So what you see here is me just using a pencil to mark out the area that I'm going to be cutting off, just so that when I get to the bandsaw I'll know exactly which is the waste and which is the knob. And now you can see the knobs much better. So now what you have here is we've got the individual knobs, and the black part is what we're going to cut away. So we'll bring this right over here. Alright, so one by one I cut them off, I bring it over, I sand it, and I cut that one off. Use a little push block to make it easier. And I got my first little handle. And then I just continue the step, I bring it over and I sand it down flat so it will fit nice and snug, and round it over with the little sanding pad. And continue on until all of them are done and ready to be attached. Alright, there she is, all put together, ready to be loaded up with fasteners and nails from my pneumatic nail guns and all the accessories. So, I appreciate you watching it. Get out that lathe if you want to make some handles, and thanks for watching. This is Chris from TDW Woodworks.